Zambia Theater Project presents Homeless Network News, starring Caroline Mannheimer, Corey Walton, Greg Tramazak, Marvin Howard, Annette Bryant, Robert Flood, Sol Sepulveda, Tahiti Robinson. A hearty welcome, America, and to you, our viewers. Welcome to Zambia's Homeless Network News. I'm your host, Corey Walton, coming to you live from Zambia's world headquarters in downtown Minneapolis. And the title of this week's episode is Summer Encampment. And our sponsors for today's show is A Day in the Life, a program of St. Stephen's Human Services. Now, A Day in the Life is an educational walking tour of experiences led by community educators and individuals who have experienced homelessness. A great way for those that know to become those that show. So what better combination can there be for an episode than one that connects encampments with those who have become educators on the topic of homelessness? So we have a great episode in store for you today, and as usual, we will kick off our episode with our On This Day in History segment. Did you know that on this day in history, June 10th, 1963, the Equal Pay Act of 1963, aimed at abolishing wage disparity between sex, was signed into law by President John F. Kennedy as part of his New Frontier program. Now, the law was one of the first federal anti-discrimination laws that addressed wage differences based on gender. The act made it illegal to pay men and women working in the same place different salaries for similar work. Additional U.S. laws enacted to protect workers from employment discrimination include Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, and the Americans with Disabilities Act. And some states have their own laws that prohibit pay discrimination. But one of the first to offer such protections was the Equal Pay Act, signed into law on this day, June 10th, 1963. Now on with the show. Our first segment is one of my favorite, hosted by our finger on the pulse of the community advocate for unity. That's right, you know him as Roberto Blood. This week, Roberto brings part 3 of his 4-part In Focus series on redlining. This time, he's here to bring you some very important information on various forms of discrimination aimed at the LGBTQ community. Once again, here is Roberto Blood in his latest installment of In Focus.
Hello and welcome to part 3 of my series, Redlining in Minneapolis. Now, in the 1920s, there was no such thing as gay rights. But in 1924, that all changed. A man named Henry Gerber, a German immigrant, established the Society for Human Rights. Gerber was unhappy with the treatment of the LGBTQ+ community. Jobs were scarce, low pay, and housing, forget about it. The LGBTQ community was treated like lepers. So in 1925, Gerber opened his home to the LGBTQ+ community to help with jobs, housing, and basic human rights. In 2015, the Gerber House became only the second LGBTQ+ related property to become a National Historic Landmark, the other being the Stonewall Inn in New York City, site of the 1969 Stonewall riots. I would like to thank you for joining me on this edition of In Focus, and join us next week when I'll be bringing you episode 4 of Redlining in Minneapolis. Remember, stop staring, start seeing. Peace, I'm out.
Thank you so much, Roberto, for some very important information that we all need to hear. And a hearty reminder that discrimination of any kind directed at any of our brothers and sisters is wrong. Do you have any thoughts or feelings on what Roberto said? Or maybe some reflections based on your experiences with discrimination? Please share those in our chat box. In the meantime, we're going to keep this train on the tracks and down the road. Next up, a real Zambia treat written by our own Caroline Mannheimer. I don't want to give any of this special segment away, so I'll just introduce it by saying, fasten your seatbelts for interactions in a Minneapolis park.
Everybody up. It's summer camp!
Who the heck are you?
I am Megan, your summer camp counselor. I thought today we could all work on God's eyes. We each need to find 2 sticks, and I brought the yarn.
Are you off your meds or something?
No, but I did take an extra vitamin this morning and stopped at Starbucks. Clover brewed coffee, extra dark, extra large, venti.
Yeah, it shows.
Okay, well, if you're not into God's eyes, how about making a craft stick picture frame? Yes, let's!
Look, lady, this is our summer encampment.
Yeah, I know, it's summer camp. The county has hired me to come every day and make crafts with you. Make s'mores, drink bug juice, and well, I don't want to brag, but I am a pretty good yoga teacher.
Yeah, let's talk more about this bug juice.
Look, I don't have time to make your dumb craft frames. I don't even have anywhere to hang it. Do you even know why we're here?
Of course, you're camping. Well, and then since you have a yoga instructor / art teacher come every day, some might call it glamping, hey? Time for stretching.
Hey, why not?
Why not? Because she's a lunatic. She's making fun of us.
Oh, she's harmless. Come on, have some fun. Plus, she's got bug juice and s'mores.
This is not fun, Chris. I haven't showered in 6 days. We're living on Little Debbie's and the occasional ramen.
La 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 la. No negativity here. Okay, who wants bug juice?
Oh yeah, it's about time. I hope it's grape. Is it grape?
It's grape.
What the? We're homeless. We got to go to 35W exit and sign. Make some money for the day.
Here, have some bug juice. You seem so tense.
Okay, fine.
Hi, Chris. I was wondering if you have any toilet tissue I could borrow.
Tissue? Time to make tissue paper flowers. Oh, let's see. Oh, where did I put the tissue paper?
What the what? Who's this? A new outreach worker? Hey, lady, can you hook me up with some clean socks?
Sock puppets!
She apparently thinks this is some kind of summer camp. Says the county sent her.
Well, aren't you a fancy police person?
Hey, you said you have 2 days to break down our camp, and we still have 9 hours.
Yes, it's the 9th hour.
That doesn't even make sense. It's not the 9th hour. We have 9 hours left. And you're supposed to get us housing?
Well, there are, I don't know, at least 11 empty shelter beds. Why would you want to be out here in the heat? And the mosquitoes, and the weirdos, and the weirdo mosquitoes. Hey, do you have a bedazzler perchance? Or maybe some feathers?
We don't want to go to a shelter where our stuff got stolen and there's a curfew like we're children.
Or on probation or house arrest. I'm not a criminal. I just can't afford anywhere to live.
And I want to stay with my girlfriend.
Yeah, and I want to hold on to the little bit of money I get every month, so maybe in 10 years, I'll save enough for an apartment deposit and first month rent. Shelter takes your benefits.
Well, there's been complaints that you're making the dog walkers feel uncomfortable, and that's not cool.
Shh, everybody calm. Just breathe. Come on, shh. Let's just do some yoga poses. Tree, warrior. How about a little upward dog?
Uncomfortable? They're complaining about feeling uncomfortable. They should try sleeping on a moldy old sleeping bag I'm sleep on every night. Now that's uncomfortable.
You got a sleeping bag?
Oh my goodness, officer, I am so glad to see you here. Are you removing these vagrants?
I'm sorry, vagrants?
Oh my God, they're getting close to me. Where are my pills? Where are my pills? Why me? Why me, God?
I'm sorry, it's not a very attractive blanket, but you look traumatized and probably should be kept warm. Ma'am, calm down, please. Calm down.
Come on, downward dog.
Are we the only sane people here?
It would appear that way.
Officer, it was so awful. My husband and I heard things last night. I was so scared to take my morning jog. So scared.
Well, honey, wearing that outfit, I would have been probably a little scared to leave the house, too.
What are you, the fashion police?
Maybe.
Well, oh my God, look, it's Camp Biohazard. That's not exactly in keeping with South Minneapolis fashion.
Bedazzle the tents!
Vicky! Thank God, someone who isn't bat crap crazy.
Hey guys, I thought I'd bring you over some of our lasagna from last night. And I have a case of bottled water in the car.
Hydrated! We all need to stay hydrated.
Oh, thank you so much, Vicky. I don't know what we would do without you.
Excuse me, who are you?
Oh, hi. I'm Vicky. I used to be Chris's foster mom. I come by and check on him and his friends as often as I can.
Used to be a foster mom? Must not have been a pretty good one.
Chris aged out of the system. I couldn't just keep him. That's not how it works. But I still worry about him just as much as I did when he lived with me. And whom might you all be anyway?
I might be the summer camp counselor. No, seriously, I might be. I'm not sure.
I am a tax-paying, concerned citizen.
I paid taxes for 30 years.
Yeah, and we're all citizens.
And I am here to issue summonses. Ugh, I feel like I look ugly when I say that.
You do.
Tickets? For what? For being unsightly and dirty. Oh, and just generally unfabulous.
And for trespassing?
Sure, why not?
Why not? Because they're not criminals. You know they can't pay any fines. They have nowhere safe to go. So they gather together. They look out for each other. Have you ever actually been to a shelter?
Ew.
No.
Exactly. So why would they want to? I don't blame them one bit. I'd rather camp with my friends than stay in a shelter. At least their tents are their space. Everyone needs their own spaces.
Space! Oh! A soda bottle space rocket. I think I might have those supplies.
That actually sounds kind of fun.
Don't you dare. There's already bottles and butts and garbage and needles everywhere.
Bottles and butts? That sounds like a fashion line. Who are you wearing? I'm wearing bottles and butts.
No way there's needles everywhere.
Needles! Oh, is knitting the craft that you guys are into? I know how to finger knit.
We police our own encampment. We make sure there's no litter or no one's misbehaving. I understand there may be encampments that are more rowdy, but we're not like that.
Yeah, a lot of us are moms and grandmas, and we wouldn't want any kid to be afraid of us or to hurt themselves.
Maybe you and your husband can come by and barbecue and invite your neighbors here in the park. Get to know them because they are your neighbors. They're human beings worthy of respect.
Barbecue! Roasting marshmallows!
The only fire allowed in the park is right here. Psst. Okay, people, look. I forgot my sparkle gel pen, so I can't write any summons tickets right now. So maybe y'all can work out some arrangement where the campers watch out for you while you jog and maybe help you coordinate your outfits better. And Vicky, you keep doing you, girl. Jogger person lady, don't be rude. It's ugly. And lighten up. Glampers! Keep your area tidy. Go to bed early. Be friendly. Maybe sing some songs sometimes.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
And don't scare the joggers or the dogs or the kids, okay? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Good night.
Well, I'm fresh out of ideas.
Never thought that would happen.
I'll go get the water.
That was really weird.
One of the weirdest.
And we live in tents.
In a park.
In the middle of the city.
They better never call us weird again.
I went camping and I brought some duct tape.
I brought a blanket.
I brought drinking water.
I brought some juice.
I brought a flashlight.
I brought a hammock.
I brought a knife.
brought some lunches from Soup for You.
I bought a bag of apples.
I went camping and I could not bring my plants.
I couldn't bring a chair.
Couldn't bring my fridge.
Couldn't bring my friend.
Couldn't bring my TV.
I couldn't bring my bathtub.
Couldn't bring my kids.
Couldn't bring any ice for the cooler.
I couldn't bring my documents.
Yes, indeed. Once again, Caroline has done it again. Caroline has written many scripts and music for Zamia and others over the years, so you knew this wouldn't disappoint. And thanks to so much to our other Zamly members who joined Caroline to bring her words to life. Great stuff indeed. And if you have any thoughts about that piece, please drop them in the chat box. Now, our next segment features wisdom at its finest. Here to bring us what only she can is Zamia troop member Tahiti Robinson with her wise words of wisdom. Now, consistent with our summer encampment theme, this week, Tahiti shares her memories of summer camp.
I remember when I was young, about 10 years old or so, I would go to summer camp. I remember one time that I went, I was gone for a whole week. I had so much fun. Let me tell you what we did. We went hiking, roasting raw or marshmallows, played outdoors. We even had a talent show. And I did an acrobat performance, which everyone enjoyed. One thing I really remember was I found a frog. And the frog wasn't allowed, so I hid him. And I would play with him at night. And when I was time to go home, I put the frog away, put him back into the lake. It was kind of sad when it was time to go home. And all the camp people and all the counselors, we were hugging and crying. And we all were like family. I had so much fun. Those were the days. There's always a reason why we say and do a thing. Why summer camp? Because we really had fun. Because you get all vitamin D from the sun. We breathe fresh air and many good things. All this outdoors. We all need this to stay healthy. See how healthy? And this is natural. We should even go outdoors in the wintertime every day, if it is only for 5 minutes or 10. Well, enough of that. Good day and night too. Love and peace.
It's always special hearing wise words and wonderful memories from my friend and troopmate, the wonderful Tahiti Robinson. And please, if you have anything to share about your experiences at summer camp, or if you have any thoughts about Tahiti's segment, please feel free to drop those in our chat box. And now it's that time again. Dun, 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 dun. You guessed it. It's time for headline news. Now, this week's news features insights on the relationship between the refugee and immigrant communities and homelessness. So without further ado, here is our very own Esther O, and filling in for Marvelous Marvin Howard, who I've been told is off to summer camp, with the latest installment of dun, 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 Headline News.
And we're back with the headlines. No new news, just the same old news.
Hey, Harry, did you go to summer camp? Hey, you know this one? John Jacob Jingleheimenschmidt.
Schmidt.
That's my name too. Come on.
Ooh.
Whenever we go out, we'll always shout,
Shout.
John Jacob Jingleheimenschmidt.
No, I'm sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh, I love camp.
Really?
When I hear the word camp, those goofy songs always come to mind.
Oh.
But then, if there's an S added to the word camp, like the camps.
You got something altogether different. Da 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 da.
Inside migrant camp in Tijuana, asylum seekers are waiting on a plan.
Right now, the Biden administration is focused on finding shelter for the rising number of unaccompanied children arriving at the southwest border. Nearly 19,000 unaccompanied children entered U.S. border custody in March, an all-time high.
In November 2020, a federal judge barred the Trump administration's policy of expelling unaccompanied children at the border. The policy violated public health law and the legal protections Congress created for these minors. More than 15,000 unaccompanied children were expelled before the federal judge's ruling. The Biden administration is now formally protecting unaccompanied minors from the rapid expulsions.
So, where are these children staying, and who is caring for them?
Overcrowded border jails give way to packed migrant child shelters.
See, formerly, children were at crammed jails run by the Department of Homeland Security's Customs and Border Protection under Trump's administration.
The current administration states that the children are far better cared for at these new facilities, which are operated by the Department of Health and Human Services.
But these shelters sure ain't like no summer camp.
I found it surprising that according to the 2018 U.S. Census and Refugee Support Agencies, Minnesota has the highest number of refugees per capita of any state, and nearly 10% of Minnesotans are immigrants.
A broken dream, homelessness, and immigrants.
Despite an increase in the number of homeless immigrants and refugees, nationwide and statewide data regarding the relationships between homelessness and immigration is nearly non-existent.
As a result, immigrant populations are among those most vulnerable to homelessness because their needs and unique challenges are not adequately documented or researched and inevitably not understood.
The connection between homelessness, immigration, and displacement.
Yeah, many immigrants experiencing homelessness are unwilling or unable to receive assistance due in part to fear stemming from the possibility of deportation.
Displacement is then perpetuated due to the inability to find stable housing, income, or assistance.
No home, no papers, no help. The plight of the undocumented immigrants on the street.
Some people with no documents may actually qualify to be lawful permanent residents, green card holders. But in the process of applying for a green card, they need to go get fingerprinted by the Federal Immigration Agency.
But to get to the fingerprint appointment, the person needs to present a government-issued ID. Catch-22.
Immigrants face an uncertain road to recovery after the pandemic.
Ineligible for most forms of state and federal welfare and disproportionately impacted by the pandemic, undocumented immigrants who lost work are facing down thousands of dollars in debt and no clear path to paying it off. The pandemic hit and my world came crashing down, homeless immigrant says.
Unemployment among Hispanic immigrants doubled in the United States between January 2020 and February 2021, according to the Migration Policy Institute.
These numbers don't take into consideration immigration status, but activists and social workers say more vulnerable immigrants who often don't qualify for aid are now finding themselves without a home.
More Somali refugee families homeless in Minneapolis.
Now, although some refugees are entitled to refugee cash and medical assistance provided by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Resources, as we know, affordable housing is not affordable. And cash assistance is not enough.
Now, we don't want you to be drawing incorrect conclusions from this old news. So, to be clear, illegal immigration is not driving mass homelessness.
Greed is. And that's it for the same old news.
Da da
da da da da da da. John Jacob Tingleheimer Schmidt. That's my name too.
wonderful news segment as always. Thank you so much, Harry and Esther, for that informative edition of Headline News. And as always, if you have any thoughts on any of the news items, please feel free to drop those in our chat box. Now, this next piece comes to you from a dear friend of the ZAM fam, Mr. Ken Moore. Now, in this piece, along the lines of our theme, Ken shares with us his memories about summer camp. Once again, here with a taste of his life, Ken Moore.
What paddle timing for summer camping? It was around the age of 9. I was in a behavioral treatment center. I accidentally bumped into a bigger boy. The boy was known to have extreme anger issues. The boy came up, then pushed my head into the ledge. I had to get at least 3 stitches. The next day, I was frantically woken due to my mother showing up to take me out. I ended up going from the center to a summer camp. The camp has a bunch of special traditions, but here's my 2 favorites. Birthday paddle spankings. Get spanked equal to the age you're actually turning. Fave number 2. Campers always left camp with a canoe paddle painted by their cabin counselors. How I miss those fun summer days of camping when I was a youngster child.
Thank you, Ken, for sharing with us a piece of your story and a valuable piece of your life. Please feel free to share any thoughts you have about Ken's piece in our chat box. And that happy note brings us to the end of our summer encampment episode of HNN. I know, yes, unfortunately, we have reached the end of this edition of HNN. But before we go, we'd like to thank our entire ZAM family, you, our viewers, our ZAM-tastic directors, Esther O and K Flo. Special thanks to Rebecca, aka Bex Noon, Marin, aka Junior, and my girl Ames, always holding it down in the chat. And a heartfelt thanks to Ken Moore for dropping by to share with us his story. And we also like to warmly thank our sponsors, A Day in the Life, courtesy of St. Stephen Human Services. You can learn more about that and other St. Stephen programs by dropping by their website at ststevensmpls.org. And as a reminder, for all the ZAM latest, check out our website at zamiatheater.org, one word. And while you're there, sign up for our quarterly Z newsletter. Our latest issue is the bomb. And for all the latest, you can also click on the events tab at our Facebook page. And while you're there, don't forget to hit like. In the meantime, we'll see you all on our next episode of Homeless Network News.